everyone, I'm Museum Associate Joanna Abijaoude. I'm here in front of a bank in our permanent collection, and I'm going to share with you why I chose a specific object for our unboxing today. I was browsing our banks looking for objects to photograph for another project when I came across this gorgeous metallic coat that also happens to double as a musical instrument. This truly unique coat is by French designer Louis Féraud, and before we get into the details of the coat, which I know you're dying to see, let me give you a bit of background on his career. This is Louis Féraud, pictured in 1969. Before becoming a designer, he was a lieutenant in the French Resistance. He opened his first boutique in Cannes in 1955 and came to the scene dressing starlets like Brigitte Bardot and Gina Lollobrigida. For his work, Féraud received a Legion of Honor award from the French government. Here he's pictured at his last collection in 1995 in a photo from our Michel Arnaud Fashion Photography Archive. And after he retired, his daughter Kiki took over the brand. Now let's get into the details of this coat. I'm going to focus in on the material. These are foil dyed strips. You can see that the pink is fading quite a bit. I think it would have been much more vibrant when it was originally worn. As I focus in even further, you can see that these dyed foil strips have been machine stitched to a backing fabric in a herringbone pattern. Taking again a very close look at these foil dyed strips, and you can see that the color has faded quite unevenly. So on certain strips, like here in the center, you can see just how rich the original color was. Here's a bit of comparison for you to see how the foil strips on the collar are basically silver at this point, and then right here on the shoulder, they still retain quite a bit of that pink pigment. The buttons are faux gold. They're actually quite lightweight, just plastic buttons. And I appreciate that further down there is a hidden snap. So even though the buttons are at the very top, you could still keep the entirety of the coat closed. Here is the Louis Féraud label. What's interesting is that the accent over his E in the label comes and goes, so it actually appears before the 1960s and afterwards. Here is the back of the coat. It's really held up remarkably well. It makes me wonder how much it was actually worn. We unfortunately have no donor information. Just a couple of places here on the shoulder and on the collar where the foil is coming unstitched. A closer look at the belt loop, which is also just gold foil pressed, and all of the materials used for the coat are so consistent with that 1960s futuristic aesthetic and also in line with experimentation of new materials for fashion. And the belt, it's what initially got my attention for this garment, and you can see these tiny little bells attached all along the front. We can see a little bit more damage here on the belt. Of course, this is the part that would go through the buckle, so that makes sense. And I think it's really interesting. You can see where the foil is peeling up. They've just applied this to a turquoise belt. Maybe it was just hanging around the stockroom. All of the peculiarities with this object make me wonder if it was perhaps a prototype used in an advertisement or at a fashion show, and perhaps it was never sent to full production. I'm going to give the belt a gentle rattle so you can envision what this woman would have sounded like walking down the street wearing this coat, certainly announcing her presence.